Hello, my name is Mason, and today I've been asked by countless people what on earth is going on with Zara Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn's Your Party. People have asked me for my opinion because the answer does not seem so clear to most, even on the left. So I feel that people should understand what's going on. For anyone who might feel a little lost or confused, this is a video for you. I'm going to be covering a little bit about the background, about what Your Party is, the current political state of the United Kingdom, and what we as leftists need to do. To start off, I'm going to be talking about the two main people involved in this, namely Zara Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn. I'm also going to be talking about the Independent Alliance, Reform UK, Tommy Robinson, and Nigel Farage. From Birmingham, Zara Sultana is the MP of South who has won 2 of the last general elections in a row for Labour. Aged 17, she witnessed the apartheid of the Palestinians in Jerusalem by the privilege that her UK passport gave her to pass through areas where Palestinians couldn't. She has been backed by countless unions and left organisations, including Momentum, the Fire Brigades Union, Unite, and the BFAWU. In her youth, she compared Iraq, Afghanistan, and Palestine to the Holocaust, and said that Israel was created through ethnic cleansing, occupation, apartheid, and war crimes. She has been vocal on issues ranging from Palestine to the child benefit cap, which lost her the whip as a Labour MP shortly after the 2024 election.
In my constituency of Coventry South, 10,000 children live in poverty. That's 1 in 3 children. When I'm talking to parents and I'm talking to teachers, when I'm volunteering at the food bank, I am hearing these stories of kids who are going to sleep hungry at night. They are going to school learning on an empty stomach. They are returning to cold homes. They are missing out on experiences that every child should enjoy. And there are all of these impacts on children beyond the immediate impacts. This is on their health, this is on their well-being, and even their life expectancy. So those are all the stories and all the things that I need to know when I'm voting in this particular way, because I got elected and I'm in the Labour Party. I joined actually when I was 17 years old because I care about equality and social justice. So for me, acting as a backbench MP in the interest of my constituents is what I do every single day.
She never shies away from standing firm in her opinions and calling out fellow Labour-elect MP David Lammy.
Children are starving, families have been wiped out, hospitals destroyed, yet the government in court claims that there is no evidence Israel targets civilians. The Foreign Secretary is personally responsible and refuses to ban all arms sales to this genocidal state. So, like many across Britain, I have to ask the Foreign Secretary, how do you sleep at night?
She has attacked the Lincoln MP Hamish Falconer, who is the Minister for the Middle East, as he claims to have seen no evidence of genocide. The UN now has officially declared that what is happening in Gaza meets 4 out of 5 of the requirements for genocide. She has said, does the minister understand that through the decisions he makes every single day, he is personally complicit in genocide? After the prescription of Palestine Action, she left the party and swiftly announced the Left Party alongside Jeremy Corbyn, called Your Party. Jeremy Corbyn is a left-wing ex-leader of the Labour Party and currently is an independent MP and is part of the de facto Independent Alliance. Jeremy is the MP for Islington North. He has been an especially rebellious MP throughout his career, having voted against the Labour Party's leadership 1,000 times, almost always for left-wing causes. As soon as he became leader of the Labour Party in 2015, the right wing of the Labour Party, especially Blairites, kicked him down through allegations of anti-Semitism, bringing the party into disrepute and failing to lead a Remain effort in the Brexit vote. Jeremy proved to bring in enthusiastic crowds of young socialists who were coming off the back of Trump's victory in the USA, the Conservative and Lib Dem hike of tuition fees at university, and the 2008 financial crisis. His manifesto called for free tuition, nationalisation of the railroad, increased wealth tax, and better NHS support. He brought around a grassroots-led membership that Labour, a large donor party, realised would jeopardise the way that party decisions could take place, as the larger part of the membership came down now to individual left-leaning members rather than mega donors, and so the interests of the party would be swayed from a more centrist, big business position to that of social democracy and activist or campaign-led demands. He ultimately capitulated to the right of the party and refused to ignore or boldly face anti-Semitism smears. Huge state attacks from the BBC jeopardised his time as the leader of the Labour Party.
And Warner Brothers gave us a sneak peek of the next Harry Potter movie. Good night.
Tell the truth! What do you see?
Let me speak to him.
Master, you are not strong enough.
I have strength enough for this.
Moving on, why has Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn been under pressure?
He's been involved in an anti-Semitism row.
Oh, God, really? Is that new?
I think it is unfair, you know, to expect Jeremy Corbyn to sort out anti-Semitism or have a coherent strategy on Brexit, because it is harvest time on his allotment.
That if you tweet anything about, you know, critical of the way Labour's handled the anti-Semitism case, which there's plenty to talk about with that, they've really handled it poorly. But if you tweet anything about it, you get people online replying going, look, there's no problem with anti-Semitism, you've just bought into a conspiracy by the Rothschilds and George Soros. And you're like, I mean, that is exactly... what you've basically just said there is, there's no problem with anti-Semitism, you've just been tricked by some lying Jews.
By 2020, he was out, and the party refused to let him run in 2024 as a member of the Labour Party, as he was, quote, not a representation of the party values, end quote. He has been a present supporter at pro-Palestine marches, leading most in London with Palestine Solidarity campaign. He has opposed the child benefit cap and has pushed for more current left-wing policies, but admits the Labour manifesto was nothing remarkable. The Independent Alliance is a de facto group of the 5 independent MPs that rose in the general election riding on pro-Palestine promises. The IA did not form a party immediately after the general election, but Corbyn claims to have invited them over for a chat and a cup of tea shortly after July, where they discussed the possibility of creating a party. No traction was made, despite calls from numerous groups for them to create a new left party. The IA de facto joined Zara and Corbyn when the announcement of a new left party was made, despite the fact that they are not all exactly left-wing. Reform UK, formerly known as UKIP, the United Kingdom Independence Party, is now led by Nigel Farage. Reform UK is the billionaire-backed media conglomerate that wishes to enact conservative and neoliberal policies while using divisive propaganda to convince the British working class, already distrusting of the duopoly and politics in general, that the problem wasn't years of Tory austerity or Brexit or Labour austerity, but instead immigrants, queer people and solar farms. They are the living embodiment of British capitalism today. They have defecting Tory careerists, like the Lincolnshire Mayor, that show the true face of the party. They are a rebranded right-wing populist group, intent on stripping away all workers' rights, humanitarian commissions, and international policies to fast-track mass deportations of what they claim are illegal asylum seekers. Using figures like Tommy Robinson and Andrew Tate, they whip up hatred against minorities and immigrants to promote a culture war to distract from the class war. They are leading in all polls and won a large amount of council positions in the recent elections.
And any other barriers.
This isn't just a crisis, say Reform. They described it as this.
What other word could possibly describe what has been going on? It is an invasion, as these young men illegally break into our country.
Last Saturday saw a demonstration of about 150,000 people at a Unite the Kingdom rally organised by Reform UK, Tommy Robinson and various Christian parties. There was a key focus at the march on anti-Islam, anti-immigration, racism nationalism, Zionism, and quote-unquote protecting the women. It saw assaults on police and women, but very few arrests, compared to the peaceful demonstration for Palestine action that netted hundreds of arrests. There was a significant lack of a turnout on the left, with Zahra Sultana being the only MP from your party to show up. Zach Polanski, leader of the Green Party, was there, correctly identifying that it is the people that have been lied to that came out. They are not all fascists, but the march emboldened fascists. There was not much talk from trade unions to get down and show an opposition, which led to the opposition being outnumbered 15-1. Elon Musk even showed up on a video call calling for violence against the British establishment.
The antidote to that is community organising, people coming together, having conversations. We must condemn Tommy Robinson, we must condemn Reform MPs, but we must not condemn those people in the country who are feeling scared right now, who are not feeling listened to, who have suffered the consequences of decades of austerity and have been left behind. This is the moment to challenge everything Donald Trump stands for. This is the moment to reject the politics of hate and division, and instead, finally, put at the centre the politics of hope, of community, of togetherness and solidarity. And friends, together, that's how we'll change our towns, our cities, our country, and together we can change the world. Thank you, and solidarity!
Israel intensifies bombardment in Gaza daily and has mass arrested hundreds in colonized areas. Varying figures range from 100,000 to 680,000 killed in Gaza, between 5 to 35% of the entire city's population. The UK government is constantly under attack for its arms licenses to Israel and the smoke and mirrors from MPs such as David Lammy and Hamish Falconer. The Palestine Solidarity Marches led over 1 million people on London in 2023, and now at the 2-year anniversary is looking at a similar figure. Your party had come out swinging, with over 800,000 people signing up to help the party, with estimates around 200,000 people willing to join the party and become full paid members. However, after a proposed roadmap, the 800,000 members who had signed up to your party were contacted about a membership portal opening with the URL that was not identical to the Your Party page. Zahra on social media quickly began counting the rising figure of paid membership, 10,000, then 20,000, but no mention had been given from the IA. Rumours spread around leftist circles that a right-wing hack had been sent out through a malicious email for a false link to steal money. However, this was not a mistake. This was the choice of Zahra Sultana to launch a portal for membership without the prior approval of the other MPs in the IA. So what was happening behind the scenes? From what we can tell, this has been a festering issue under the mantle of the party structure. From the get-go, your party has championed democracy as its core focus. This, to many people, appeared to be a break from traditional party structures, such as a central board and a row of MPs beholden to the ideas. It claims to fight the injustice for money for bombs and not the poor, child poverty, and crisis of society, signed by Corbyn and Sultana only. It rightfully calls out the genocide currently ongoing in Gaza. It rightfully states that the problems in society are not caused by migrants or refugees, but rather billionaires and corporations. It claims to take root in communities, trade unions, and social movements. In the sign-up portal that found 800,000 members, the option to donate to the party had been given, and all funds were managed by MOU Operations Limited, run by Jamie Driscoll, Beth Winter, and Andrew Feinstein, all left-wing veteran politicians. Zahra claims in her statement that Carrie Murphy would not be trusted by members to run the finances, which would be undemocratic. Murphy was named as a person responsible for causing thousands of personal data breaches in the Labour Party, who claimed that they would take legal action against her. While this was not discussed with members, neither was MOU Operations Limited, but this was held as a trustworthy management of finances for the party, as it was run by similar left-wing political figures. Murphy and Pamela Fitzpatrick, someone close to Corbyn for some time, had been trying to get Jeremy Corbyn to take a leap and start a new party. Fitzpatrick formed a party called Arise, which is not thought to be tied to your party, though Corbyn was announced as a speaker at the party's launch. Collective, which Murphy and Fitzpatrick are involved in, has been driving the communications of the IA and Sultana. It wants to operate on a grassroots level, but only after establishing a party structure. Driscoll and Feinstein, on the other hand, postulated a federal approach, posted in the New Statesman, a bottom-up approach of citizens' assemblies and community discussions to develop the Your Party's direction. However, it was reported that Corbyn actually preferred the methods of Driscoll and Feinstein, whereas Sultana favours the party-first approach. This is evidently where a major conflict arises. One camp is in favour of a more bureaucratic approach, forming a rigid structure for a party to uplift community actions and collectives. On the other hand, another camp is in favour of a grassroots-led direction, taking a community approach first, which forms the complete party by the collaboration between different groups. This is where things get challenging. The New Statesman reports that Corbyn would side with Driscoll and Feinstein, with Sultana being in favour of the party-first approach, despite the fact that it was brought around by Murphy and Fitzpatrick, someone who she is distrustful of. We must definitely take all of this with a grain of salt. Developments may arise and confessions may come out to clarify what was going on. The Statesman gets something right. Left-wing activists are anxiously waiting for something, anything, concrete to emerge. And if Corbyn and Sultana are too slow to act, they may soon find that the left is unwilling to wait. That article was written 3 weeks ago, so there has been a huge shift. Zara's statement seems to endorse the agreed upon MOU Operations Limited as the financial managers, and casts a shadow of a doubt over Murphy and her associates, who we can assume includes Fitzpatrick, despite Zara agreeing with Murphy and Fitzpatrick on the party-first approach. The membership portal would have led the party in an approach reportedly proposed by Murphy and Fitzpatrick, where the structure of the party would be built first and then the actions of all that wish to be heard could be elevated. Zara claims that she wishes the data and finances was not centralised with one person, Murphy. She signed off her statement with how the founding conference will occur in November. Meanwhile, the IA called for a cancellation of all direct debit payments made, naming Zara as one of the IA but not signing the message as on behalf of her. They have announced the portal will appear on yourparty.uk, the official page. And now here we are, a group with upwards of 800,000 persons ready to take up the call to help start a party, eagerly awaiting updates or sharing their annoyance. The immense pressure will come with a lot of uncertainty from the 6 MPs and everyone involved. It is clear that the issues raised are not immediately ones of political goals, but rather managerial and personal commitment issues, along with claims of personal appalling treatment. The grassroots proposed takeover. Novara Media swiftly picked up this story about how Zara and her supporters launched memberships unilaterally, with how the IA responded, declaring it as unauthorised. Novara calls this a crisis of leadership, and that the power needs to be put into the hands of the grassroots organisations. Named Our Party, there is a collection of trade unions, tenant unions and the Palestine movement that wasted no time in denouncing all leadership and calling for the founding power to be given over to members, including money, data, systems and companies. The committee claims that it will facilitate an election of a founding stewards committee that can organise a democratic pathway to the autumn conference. It claims that to defeat Faragean reform, it must use the party as a tool to build class power on a mass scale and to be an instrument for mass action, and that the leadership is jeopardising a chance. These groups and independent activists are scarcely known outside of leftist circles, but they have bold demands of a handover team to be appointed, not aligned with any existing MP. As I was writing about this grassroots campaign of our party, something unexpected happened. Zara Sultana came out in support of our party, claiming that the MPs had gotten us this far, and now the people should take the reins. This shows a complete swap, a 180 in Zara's proposed beliefs. Now that the idea of a party is in the air, it should be for the people, not the 6 MPs, to take action. The grassroots campaign runs as follows. A handover team will be appointed, not aligned with any faction at the top, and selected from top movements, unions, Palestine movement, etc. Nominations will be gathered for an election to a founding stewards committee by the independent handover team, with anyone gathering the support of over 250 members to be nominated. An election will be run and 11 stewards will be elected among qualifying candidates. The stewards will conduct the party's founding assemblies and conference. They will then implement a founding process of regional assemblies and conference as was originally stated in the roadmap. The democratically elected leadership will take charge of the party. This is to be a historic proposal, a complete 180 on the party first method suggested and what seemed to be occurring as MPs dragged their feet. If there is to be one victor out of the rubble, it will certainly be Zach Polanski and the Green Party, who are seeing thousands of new members since Thursday. Inspired by Zara posting the lists of members, Zach was quick to point out that the Green membership sits at 72,000, and within 24 hours it had reached 75,000. The shifts in the structure of your party have thrown speculative people overboard and into the arms of the Green Party. The Green Party has been doing the rounds since the recent election gave eco-socialist Zach Polanski the leadership of the Green Party, with Mohammed Ali as the deputy, a proven militant of minority communities as seen in his actions in last year's race riots. Polanski is also incredibly popular with the younger generation and the socialist wing of the Green Party, known as Greens Organise. He's also an openly gay Jewish man, which has helped any false smear of anti-Semitism against his strong principled position of the genocide of Gaza. But why was any of this happening? Well, to understand, we need a class analysis of careerism and adventurism. There are a lot of conclusions that people are going to be drawing from this, but most importantly is the class position and the track record of the 6 MPs, and this can tell us a lot. Firstly, Zara is a strongly principled MP. The cuts to welfare and benefits, the genocide of Gaza and the UK's complicity, the proscription of Palestine action, and the slow proceedings of your party. These are all things that infuriate her, and rightfully so. She has little trust in the establishment or the conventional party structure, and immediately lost the whip after the general election, showing that her principled stance will be taken every day compared to her political career. She has also been critical of Jeremy Corbyn, who failed to kick out the right wing during the anti-Semitism smears throughout the 2010s, and why he hadn't yet formed a party until she decided to. The inactivity of the party must come down to this. There have been grassroots organised meetings in Great Britain already. Apart from the roadmap, it took 2 months to get a solid idea to what the party was doing, and they were losing momentum significantly. 800,000 people signed up to help. A well-organised leadership could have used that to find people already who would set up cells and branches and committees. Instead, the IA wasted time sorting out the nitty-gritty parts, which are crucial, but lost attention over to the Greens. This is on par with the IA, who are careerists, who want to do things by the book, who want to preserve legitimacy to the state they are trying to tackle. But not enough action was going ahead, and this expressed itself through the sideline Zara accelerating the process and getting the membership sorted. By any means necessary, she was going to start this party. This eclecticism can be seen in her U-turn to make it a grassroots started party compared to her tactic previously of starting with the party structure. It is simply to her whatever has the most potential. Leftists will have learnt the lessons of Corbynism. You cannot give an inch to the centrists or the right wing. Reformist and careerist politicians exist to maintain the status quo, capitalism, by providing cheap reforms that settle the working class before there are explosions of class anger. What this does, however, is kick the can down the road and lead to bigger crises later. Every political reform can be reversed if capitalism is in a deep enough crisis, which it is now given the economic state of the UK. Marxist, communist and leftist groups have all varied in support, some recognising that it is being started by the IA, who are careerists, and calling it a dead end right away. Others have encouraged widespread participation into turning it into a strong workers' party. Trade unions are looking for a split with Labour, a relationship held for decades now turned to dust, and the largest unions with hundreds of thousands of members each could be joining or supporting your party. This was the mood at the height of the Corbyn years, and without a weak-willed reformist at the top, but either a principled and dedicated leader or an organisation of democratically elected leftists that have learnt these lessons, the failures will be far less. Right off the back of the Unite the Kingdom rally, the left is looking everywhere for an answer. To the Socialist Worker Party's Stand Up to Racism campaign, which offers no material change but appeals to the morals of refugees are people, to Zach Polanski and his optimistic hope that we can win over these underprivileged white people that are being misled by Farage and Reform UK. The Corbyn movement will be a firm lesson in what is to come. No reformism, no careerists, and no appeasing the right wing.
And he challenged Theresa May to call another election. So, please, Theresa May.
There have been a variety of different opinions from the left about your party so far, and I'm just going to quickly list some of them off. The Revolutionary Communist Group have called the party Raising the Dead and calling the Revolutionary Communist Party social chauvinists for their position. They believe that neither Corbyn nor Sultana have any intention of leading a radical party against the British state, and that your party will be made to defend the Labour Party. The Revolutionary Communist Party have been critical of the rift between Sultana and Corbyn, calling for the bickering to be set aside and a revolutionary programme to be adopted to push back against Farage and Robinson. The RCP has repeatedly put out information as to what Corbynism is and what the left should learn from it. When the announcement was made for the new left party, the RCP pointed out the correct answers that the new party leaders were giving. The system is rigged. The rich must be taken on, and the system protects the interests of corporations and billionaires. The RCP enthusiastically welcomed this new step and encouraged all members to mobilise the success of the party to bring around real change, and furthered a call to demand a revolution against the billionaires by beginning with building a mass left alternative. The Socialist Workers' Party celebrated the 800,000 sign-ups to your party, and rightfully warned of the danger of the uncertainty that leads to hesitation and delay, but pointed out that self-appointed meetings were already starting. It furthered the demands not to shy away from climate action, anti-racism and solidarity with the trans community. It called for the principled position from candidates, lest the Green Party take the momentum. This week, it has rightfully called out the party if it blows up the project before it is even set up, and says that history will forgive neither side. It reminds us of the mobilisation of Robinson's March. And if this opportunity is squandered, millions will pay the price as the right and reform benefit. Socialist Workers' Party calls for strong socialist policies, rather than Shocker Adams' call for the party not to alienate landlords. They say, let's involve as many of the 800,000 people who signed up as possible through mass meetings. Let's fight for the new party to support trans liberation and say proudly, refugees and migrants are welcome here. Let's keep our eyes on the prize. Amazingly, the Communist Party of Great Britain Marxist-Leninist has not written one article on your party, despite maintaining multiple weekly article publications about strike actions nationwide, and it just wrote an article about how immigration is an attack on workers and how migrants won't join the British workers. The Communist Party has made a statement on the party supporting the view of these developments, especially against Reform UK. It rightfully calls out that no trade union movement had been reached, at least at the announcement of the party. The Communist Party will, as before, consider how best it can work with its socialist and progressive allies, whether in the new party or in Labour and others. How can we ensure that the mass campaigning surges forward, combating the Labour government's anti-working class and warmongering policies, exposing the class character of Reform UK and isolating the racists? Mass campaigning, they say, the key to advance. Build left unity and the united front. Now I hear you saying, what's next for your party? Well, it's clear what is going to happen in the following days. The right-wing billionaire-backed media will run laps around the party if it cannot get its act together and make a decisive move. If our party succeeds, the media will paint a picture of a mutiny splitting the party, leaving out the strength of the grassroots group. If things cool off between Corbyn and Sultana and the party approach is adopted, Corbyn will still be portrayed as weak and idle, and Sultana as an adventurist and rash. We need to involve ourselves in this as much as possible. If one of them triumphs, a divide will be placed between them, and the media will state it is a lost cause and we should all abandon ship, much to the joy of the Greens and the establishment alike. A highly likely outcome is that either Sultana will emerge victorious, or Corbyn will banish Sultana, or a grassroots takeover decides enough is enough. If this party is to be a fish caught out of water, the immediate exodus will be to the Green Party at a very favourable time. Polanski's eco-socialism will prove attractive to the petty bourgeois and reformist characters alike. This will certainly not further the fight for socialism beyond small reforms, but it would succeed in showing that the real anger in society can be correctly focused against the establishment and towards the left rather than the right. So I hear you say, what are we going to do now? We should say in a unified voice, down with the careerists, up with a revolutionary programme, campaign en masse with all workers' movements, activists, unions and organisations to build a left unity and a united front. Trade union leaders should take advantage of the possibility of the momentum behind the Our Party initiative, mobilising all of their members to join en masse to the party and bring around bold socialist ideas. If you are a leftist, speaker, activist or just political in general, then you should tell your friends, followers, colleagues, family, your union to get involved and help build a workers' movement that has not been seen for generations. All leftist parties should come together to encourage politically active cadres to help boost the awareness and the strength of the Your Party. Now this can come across as entryism, but it needs all the help it can get right now. With different party endorsements, we must be aware that we are going to encounter political differences, whether that be Marxist-Leninists, Trotskyists, Maoists, syndicalists, trade unionists, anarchists even. But we should remember, this is a unified left effort. We march separately, but we strike together. Against fascism, against Farage, against Starmer, against liberalism, and against capitalism. There'll be no doubt that sects are going to form. Not all 800,000 people are going to be members of the working class. There's going to be members of the petty bourgeois, the occasional single property landlords, careerists and opportunists, reformists and more. We must be bold on the direction of the working class party and maintain class unity. Political education is vital at a time like this. An important method of reaching the most advanced layers found in this party will be the furthering of political education. This does not mean that we can turn the party into a book club. People are actively searching for answers, and leftists have the materials and resources to allow workers to understand the crisis of capitalism for themselves. If you are a leftist, then you should be agitating people to read basic Marxist concepts, not all 3 volumes of Capital. We are going to see in the coming days where this party ends up. All that we can work for is a united left front that does away with careerist and weak reformist tendencies. There truly has never been a more crucial time to join than right now. And support its foundations. This is going to be the only way that we tackle Farage and the far right. I hope this video has educated some people or shared some perspectives they weren't currently aware of. This is my first video. I've never done anything like this before, so I would really appreciate any feedback. that's given. Of course, I'm going to link down a lot of sources from this video, a lot of parties that you can read about or join, and of course the statements from our party, the IA, and Zara herself. Thanks very much for watching.